Hi, Dr. Marcia here with another in my series on coping with COVID, and I'm answering your questions. And today I want to answer the question, what do I do if a healthcare professional shows up at my home and is not wearing the proper safety equipment? So one of my patients had this experience, and she's taking care of a very sick loved one. And the visiting nurse came to their home and came into the house without gloves, a mask, or a gown. And because my patient is not very assertive, she allowed this nurse to come in, but she felt extremely uncomfortable the whole time because she was thinking if this nurse wasn't wearing any protective equipment when she was at their place, maybe she was also not wearing any protective equipment in her other places she was visiting, and she could have been spreading coronavirus around. So the question was, what does she do? So there are two things you need to do. There's a practical thing, and then there's a psychological thing. The practical thing is if someone shows up at your home and they're a visiting nurse or a counselor or some kind of medical professional or healthcare professional, and they need to be there, if they're coming in and they're not wearing any protective equipment, you don't have to let them in. And as well, if the company calls and asks what happened, you can say, you're not going to let anybody in because I think you're absolutely entitled to be safe and not to allow anyone in the house who might be spreading coronavirus, especially if you have someone sick at the house. Now, the psychological thing is pretty simple. I think that for most people, when they have a difficult time asserting their needs, and especially saying no to something, there's two reasons. One is because they don't feel entitled to express themselves clearly and directly, and the other is because they're afraid of the other person's reaction. So in the first case, if you don't feel entitled, the one thing you need to understand is that you are absolutely entitled to ask for what you want and to say no to things that don't make you comfortable. Everyone is entitled to these basic things. These are human rights. And the other part is if you feel like afraid or nervous or uncomfortable because the other person might get upset with you if you express your needs or feelings or if you say no or set a limit, think about it this way. A reasonable person will be respectful if you set a limit or say no, and an unreasonable person will have a problem with it. So if this person has a difficult time with you saying, I'm sorry, I can't let you into my home if you're wearing no protective equipment, or if the company says, you're being unreasonable for not letting my nurse into your home, well, then they're not respectful people and you don't need to worry about what they're thinking. We are all entitled to say no and to set limits and to ask for what we want. And if somebody has a problem with it, then they're not somebody we have to worry about because they are not acting with respect toward us. So please stay safe, keep your hearts open, and look forward to hearing more of your questions, and you'll be seeing more videos where I answer them.